It was a chilling scene in New York's Central Park where a group of 7 teenagers had just stepped onto a frozen lake to take a group selfie.
Ethan pointed out all the kids scattered around on the ice. We weren't paying much attention to them. We were skating along, and then we both noticed the guy in front of me running.
Bennett Jonas, a San Clemente High School graduate, and his friend, Ethan Turnbull, grabbed their skateboards and sprinted toward the icy shore.
We heard screams, and we look over, and now all you can see were their heads and thrashing water, and everyone on shore was just, what do we do? What do we do? How do we get them out? And they had big backpacks, big jackets. They had no strength left. They weren't going to get out. And, I just kind of had to do it. And fortunately, I trusted myself. I for sure knew I was strong enough to get them out. I just knew I had to do it quick enough.
Bennett also knew it would be dangerous to go in after them.
Where they went through was pretty deep, and the kids in the back, the 2 kids in the back were on top of each other. They were all ripping each other under the water. They had backpacks on and jackets and boots. It was cold, and they weren't getting out. So as I'm going out, I was having to brake and move the chunks of ice out of the way to get a path to them. And it was probably 10 to 15 feet out to where they were at, and right where they were was about waist to chest deep, and they literally fell right at the shelf that drops down to 18 feet.
As Bennett reached the first 2 boys, he remembered his junior lifeguard training to never give your body to someone drowning, but the frantic boys climbed on top of him.
He had his hands on my shoulders and pushed himself on top of me, and the kid behind him climbed on top of him, and at this point I was about chest deep, and they just had me completely under the water.
Bennett was able to push himself to the surface and pull the first 2 boys up and pass them off to Ethan.
He grabbed them and pulled them up onto the beach. And then at that point I grabbed the ladder from the guy on shore who had already gotten one out. And I slid it out to the next 3 kids who grabbed on, and we pulled them in.
But time was running out for the last 2 boys.
This whole time, I could see the last 2 kids in the back who were literally giving their last kicks.
Bennett went in one last time and pulled the boys out of the icy water.
There was no one else there that was going to do it. It was either I went in and pulled those kids out, or those kids were going to drown where they were.
Bennett's parents heard about their son's courageous actions in a phone call he made while walking back to his New York apartment.
He was shivering, and he told me the whole story. He said, there were 10 other people on the shore, and I thought, in a split second, what am I going to do? Stand here and watch them die? Because he said, I realized I couldn't live with myself. So he said I took the risk.
I was not surprised at all that he would have been the one of all the people standing around to not hesitate and jump right in.
He is just so selfless and caring, and that's just like his nature.
He went beyond what anybody else was doing. He jumped right in. I mean, there were a lot of people around, and he was the one that jumped in the water without even thinking. So, that to me defines hero.
Bennett credits his faith in giving him the strength to take that dangerous icy plunge and save those teenagers in trouble.
Dad, God put me there. God gave me the courage to jump in the water, and he actually gave me the strength because the first 2 kids jumped on my back and took me down.
Now I get it. It was part of this whole plan for him to be in the park to save these kids. So it was definitely higher powers, and he was meant to be there.
I do feel proud of what I did. 7 people are now alive and breathing because of something that I did.
When I think back on how many people do I know that would have seen that situation with those children drowning in the icy circumstances and dove right in to save those kids, I don't know how many would have. And so in that aspect, yes, I do think he's a hero, and he's certainly my hero.